Hello, friends. I'm Pamela Davis, your host for the Alternative Wisdom Summit. And today it is my tremendous honor and pleasure to introduce to you Jeff Fasano, who is going to be doing a whole series of channelings of the Archangel Michael in a series that we call Conversations with Michael. So I want to begin by telling you a little bit about who Jeff is. This extraordinary person doing a really magnificent service for the rest of us, for mankind. Jeff is an author, a Reiki master, light ascension therapist, and a trance channel, as well as a very respected, much sought after professional photographer in the indie music scene, Broadway theater, and other aspects of the entertainment business. After careers in professional sports and the shipping industry, at the age of 40, he found his passion for photography, which became the doorway to his life purpose. He's photographed a wide range of high-profile musicians and Hollywood stars, including Terrence Howard, Felicia Rashad, Judy Collins, James Earl Jones, Blair Underwood, Quincy Jones Morgan, Free Woman, Stephen Sills, Judy Collins, Tommy Lee, and we could just sit here all afternoon and talk about how many wonderful and very well-known figures, A-listers, that he has photographed. His work has been featured in Vogue magazine, Time magazine, LA Confidential, the New York Times, New York Daily News, The Village Voice, M Music, and Musicians Magazine, and there are more. His portraits grace posters for major Broadway productions, including Cat on a Hot Tin Roof and A Streetcar Named Desire. He's also photographed for numerous major record labels. So this is someone who has a very successful career that has very little, if anything, to do with the service that he has decided to perform for mankind. And this is what we're going to be focusing on today. He is a transformational messenger for the teachings from the archangelic realms, and he's deeply dedicated to imparting their wisdom and guidance to the world. He channels the energy of Archangel Michael and imparts Michael's teachings so we can discover who we are, why we are here, and find our passion and purpose in this lifetime. He published his first book, Journey of the Awakened Heart, in 2010, and he is also the co-founder of the Angel News Network. So, Jeff Fasano, welcome, welcome. So good to see you today.
Thank you, Pamela. So good to see you as well.
Well, I want you to talk to us about the transition or the moment in your life when you discovered, that's a wonderful story. I've heard it many times. I love this story. When you discovered that something was going on, you didn't know, you weren't expecting, and all of a sudden it happened. Talk about that turning point in your life.
It was on my 44th birthday back in 2002, and my friend Deborah Gill, a wonderful healer in her own right, said, come on over and we'll do a session for your birthday. So I said, sure. So I went on the day of my birthday, May 27th, back in 2002. Laid on her table. She heals with crystals. I laid down on her table, and she placed crystals all over my body and my hands. And because it was my birthday, I really wanted to receive everything that she was giving me. So I closed my eyes, and I just kept on repeating to myself, release and let go, release and let go, release and let go. And I felt myself drifting off somewhere to a point where it seemed as though that I was at the corner of the room looking down at what was happening, but I really didn't see anything. And the visions that I kept on getting were these visions of warriors in full garb and regalia, and they would come up right in front of my eye and disappear. That went on for however long it went on. When that ended, I opened my eyes, and I looked at Deborah and I said, wow, Deborah, that was a quick hour. She said, that was 2 hours and you channeled the Archangel Michael. And that's how I was connected to this energy of Michael on that day. She explained to me what he said. I said, oh yeah, I know. I was actually telling the story the other night to a woman, and she said, you know, what happened? I said, no, I don't know what happened, but I know that I was connected. In that moment, I knew and felt that I was connected to something. And that's how it all came about. And that's how it still happens.
Do you have any thoughts about what the warriors were that kept appearing and then vanishing, and in that series of whatever apparitions or whatever?
Yeah, definitely. Right, what I brought with me is my intentions had always been, because I was working with a gentleman in New York, Robert Baker, passed away a year ago, who was my mentor, my teacher, my therapist, taught me so many things about this world. He was a trance channel and channeled as well, and channeled the Archangel Gabriel. And through the work that I was doing with Robert, I was breaking down my armor around my heart to open up more and more to being who I am, to the world, opening up to love. So I had written on a list and compiled a list of all aspects of maybe my wounding or whatever it was to release. So I brought that list with me. And what those warriors represented was me. I'm an ex-athlete, an ex-jock, and it was my armor, or the warrior in me, that I was releasing, or the armor that I was releasing to open my heart. And it's so interesting that Archangel Michael, who is the warrior of the heart, with his sword or scepter, whose energy is very direct, very assertive, and is a masculine energy, came in when I was releasing the armor around myself. So that's what it represented to me.
So you brought in the Archangel Michael, who comes with a very different set of armor. That's very interesting.
Well, he comes in. He doesn't. He cuts through the armor.
Yes.
Oh, the teachings of Michael that I bring in, and have brought in various bodies of teachings from Michael, are about moving from your mind into your heart, but cutting through the armor around your heart. He constantly tells us about releasing the layers of the mask or the wounding around our heart, or releasing the armor around our heart. It's so interesting that is what the energy of Michael is all about.
Well, how long did it take you to start doing the channelings? I mean, this first time that this happened must have been quite a surprise to you. And so how did you follow up when this happened?
Later that week, I called a friend of mine, Brian Brennan, and then called Deborah, and I said, let's bring in this energy that came in. So we went to a friend's apartment, and I brought in Michael, just as I will be bringing in Michael for everyone today, and in these conversations. And that's what happened. I just closed my eyes and repeated, I release and let go, I release and let go, I release and let go. And then I went out, and Michael came through and spoke to Deborah and Brian, and they asked Michael many questions, and Michael explained himself. And that's how it all happened. What's interesting is that as I even today go in and bring in the energy, I use the same mantra, I release and let go, and I've added, it's not about me. But that's how it all happened. And then subsequently I kept on bringing the energy in over the years, and then in 2006 Michael came in with his very first bodies of teaching called the 120-Day Teachings. and subsequently after that 5 more, 6 now, because we are bringing in a body of teachings called the Laws of Beingness.
Well, that's very interesting that you didn't have to apparently go through any kind of preparatory training. It just occurred to me, have you ever, or has there ever been any indication from Michael that you have worked with him before, that perhaps you've done this before?
Well, he's explained over the years to people why I was chosen in conjunction with my mission and purpose in this lifetime, and the preparation period over many lifetimes to bring in this energy. But I did prepare for it. I was working with Robert Baker for 2 years as my therapist in his bioenergetic healing. I also became a Reiki master and was studying light ascension therapy. So through the work that I was doing with Robert, which is so essential, which is what Michael's teachings are all about, through the work that I was doing with Robert, releasing my armor, releasing my wounding, getting in touch with me, opening my heart, I did that work for 2 years with Robert that enabled me to be ready to bring in, to be connected, or let's back up, to allow this energy to connect with me. If I hadn't done the work with Robert, I may never have been connected. So that is how everything ties in together, working with Robert, who channels Gabriel. In that session with Deborah told me that Michael said, Gabriel brought us to you. And that all made sense. So yeah, there was a preparation period, but I wasn't preparing for this.
You were deepening yourself and making yourself ready to be of really significant service. You just didn't know that you were getting ready for Archangel Michael, which I think is
exactly.
Really.
And I had no idea. I mean, I'd heard of Archangel Michael. So the week after I did this, I'm a photographer, as you said, so I put everything on hold that week and just opened up and to be guided to discover more of this. And I was guided. I was living in New York City at the time, so I was guided to go to different places and do a couple of different rituals. And I was guided to go to actually a church on Fifth Avenue in New York City. And as I walked into the church, I looked up and there's 2 big murals, one of Gabriel, one of Michael. And then I looked up and I went, oh wow, because when I go in, I actually see a hologram of Michael on his horse in white. And when I looked up, that is what I saw in this church on Fifth Avenue in New York City. So it was an entire week of discovery of what this was all about. And then I also went to spiritual bookstores and to find out more about what Michael's about. And so it was a very interesting week, a very scary week too, because being connected like this was a bit scary. And when I connected with Robert Baker about it and told him about it, he says, well, Jeff, you have a choice now. You can either accept this or not accept it. And I chose to accept it, and it's just grown since then.
Yeah, well, I think, I'm certainly glad, and I know there are a lot of people glad that you accepted to do this. You mentioned a moment ago about how you experienced Michael. I was just going to ask you that question. You know, can you describe a little bit more about what it feels and what you see as the energy begins to come through?
Well, I don't really feel anything. I close my eyes, ground myself, and then begin the mantra. I release and let go. This is not about me. I release and let go. This is not about me. And then I see a flash of white light, and then a hologram of Michael. When I first began doing this, I actually saw Michael physically and an eagle flying next to Michael as they walked along. As I was doing this over the years, that vision shifted into what it is now is simply a hologram or the light body, nothing in the physical, but it's an outline or a hologram I see of Michael on his horse with his scepter. And then the scepter points at me, and then the next thing I know, I open my eyes and the session's over.
That's very, very interesting. What do you think about the timing of all of this? Not only the timing in your own life, but the moment that Archangel Michael chose you to come in and do this work. In that moment in history when this has happened. I mean, this was working up to the big shift in 2012 and so forth. What are your thoughts on the timing of this phenomenon, you know, in a cosmic sense?
Well, it was divine and perfect. Because when we are all channels and whatever messages or energies and whatever we're doing that we're downloading and bringing in, it is always for us first. So whatever teachings Michael was bringing in was for me. And that's how I always looked at it. I always would transcribe any messages, especially when the teachings came in. I would do the teachings. And then because they were working for me, I would share them with other people. It's all about my healing process. So Michael's teachings, his lessons, his exercises were for me to heal. But within that as well, he's been telling us lately that everything that is transpiring in our life right in our life right now, and the choices and decisions that we are making are all about our divine plan. So when I hear that now and I look back to 2002, this was all divinely planned and supposed to happen in my life. The beauty of it, the wonderfulness of it, as Michael would say, is that I had a choice in all of this. And I continue to make the choice that I would be bringing this in to simply serve others. Serve others to connect with their passion and their purpose and who they are, and love, honor, and value themselves, which is the bane of Michael's teachings, the gist of Michael's teachings, because it took me 18 years to connect with my passion as a photographer that became a doorway into this. As Robert would always say, photography or your passion is your doorway. When we connect with our passion, it is the doorway to our purpose in this lifetime. I connected to my passion as a photographer that opened the doorway to meet Robert, study and work with Robert that opened another doorway to be connected by this energy that is part of my divine plan and part of my mission and purpose in this lifetime.
I've heard you talk about what Archangel Michael, I've heard Archangel Michael discuss the relevance of his teaching also to the larger, to the people that come to hear him. And he's talked about the stage that we're at right now in our evolutionary or transitional, transformational process. He's talked about, you know, the percentage of people that are really awakening, those that are seeking, and those that are still asleep, and how those percentages are shifting and changing. Can you say a little bit about that?
Well, it's about what Michael talks about is the world dividing into thirds.
Mm-hmm.
The thirds, the 1/3 who are those who are waking up or connecting to themselves, doing the work, the light workers, the way showers he calls them. And then there will be a third who are realizing within themselves first that the life that they are living, what is going on in their life, whatever is happening, much of it is becoming old. It is no longer working. And they are seeking something else. Just like as I was back in 1999, I was seeking. I said to my friend Alex, I said, "There's something missing. There's something missing." And that's what she introduced me to Robert Baker. So I came to a crossroads that there was something else. What the life that I was leading was old, or something was transpiring, but many of us look outside of ourselves for the next step, the next job, the next girlfriend, the next boyfriend, the next thing, the next stimulus outside of ourselves. What this is all about, and this work is all about, it is not outside of ourselves. So there will be those who come to this point, a crossroads or an intersection, where they are saying, the old life, my old life, the life I'm currently living, it's not really working anymore. There needs to be something new, something else. And what that something else is moving from the outer, not looking for it outside of yourself, the next hit to the addiction, the next stimulus outside of yourself, but the next step is a movement within. A movement within ourselves to rediscover and remember who we are and why we are here. And that is what the teachings of Michael and all the bodies of teachings Michael brings in is about. It's a movement within. So it's that group that will move to the way showers and the light workers who are already doing this work for that guidance and support. And then you'll have the other third who will be there fighting to the death. Michael actually just spoke about this the other night, fighting to the death to keep that old world of form, or the old world, in place. So through the process, there will be a part of our ego defense that will want to fight to the death to keep our old life in place, because we know it. It's known to us, and we're comfortable in it. We may not like it, we may not enjoy it, but we're comfortable in it. It's kind of like being in a relationship with someone. It's not working, but you want to leave the relationship, but it's comfortable and you know it. And you don't want to face the fears or the feelings that come up that if you left it, you'd be walking into the unknown. Michael's teachings give us these amazing tools to raise our consciousness and awareness to be who we are and walk into the unknown of life. So that third wants to fight to the death to keep the old in place, which is based around control and power, because it's familiar. The most frightening thing and the most brave thing that we could do is to move within, release the old, and walk into the unknown to create a whole new life for ourselves.
Well, clearly this is the message for our time, and we're seeing institutions crumble around us. We're seeing people waking up all around the world in the most interesting ways. So with all of the planetary shifts that have taken place and everything that's happening in the cosmos and right next door, I mean, huge changes are afoot. So it seems that the Archangel Michael has chosen a really pivotal moment historically to come in and help us and support us with his energy to change the balance of power, the balance of all kinds of different power.
Well, it's about taking back your own personal power.
Right.
When we move in and really and fully connect with who we are and release the layers of wounding, release the attachments, release the conditioning of the mental body, we move into the knowingness of who we are and then into the beingness of who we are, and it's a very powerful place and a very freeing place to be. We stand in the power of who we are, but we are not asserting or directing willfully that power outside of ourselves through the ego mask. We're just standing in a power of the beingness of who we are. How cool could it be, and is it, that you're loved for who you are, and there's a power in that?
Well, that's, there's a large movement toward authenticity now. And certainly this is part of it, to be who you truly are, to love as you would like to love, and to be loved for who you are. Not what you have, not what you do, your doingness, but your beingness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the process, being loved, because we are all seeking to be loved. Everybody in this third dimensional realm, we're all seeking to be loved.
Well, that old saying that love is what makes the world go round. It really does.
It does. But the first step is loving ourselves, and Michael leads us through various processes and step by step into our heart to really love, honor, and value us.
He's just such an incredible energy, and that's something I would also like to ask you about. You have said to me a number of times that you are channeling from the archangelic realm of Michael. And just for our viewers, could you explain that a little bit? What that means?
Well, what it means, and I can use Michael's explanation of it. It's a realm of consciousness, a fifth dimensional realm of consciousness, where various frequencies come and connect with us humans. And that specific frequency, it's a specific frequency from the archangelic realm of Michael that connects with the frequency within me, and that frequency has a specific message at a specific level of consciousness. So what comes through me that connects with my frequency is these specific teachings dealing with moving from your mental body into your heart space and releasing the layers of wounding from around that heart space, so we could discover our passion, our purpose, and who we are in this lifetime. That is what this specific frequency from the archangelic realm of Michael that connects with me, that's its message or its teachings and its consciousness. There are various other frequencies from the archangelic realm of Michael. They come through others matching their frequency with another different type of message or a specific message. The best way to explain this is if you walked into a spiritual bookstore and went to the section with books from Archangel Michael and pick up, say, 3 or 4 of them, you will see that there might be a through line of the information or the message, but they will be all different and deal at all different levels or all different levels of consciousness and different messages. So my frequency, Michael tells us we all have a specific frequency at the core base of our heart that matches a frequency in the fifth dimensional realm. So this frequency, my frequency, matches this frequency, and then in conjunction with my mission, purpose, and divine plan of what I'm supposed to be bringing in, actually that is supposed to be healing me, connects with me, and then brings these messages through me in this specific fashion.
Well, also obviously then people that are meant to connect with you, it's the same kind of matching process that's going on, the same attractor factor that brings you and Michael together and that brings us to you.
Exactly. Yeah, when people connect with this energy through me, they are feeling that frequency and that vibration.
Well, let me just ask you if there is any kind of message that you would like to impart to the viewers, your own personal feeling about the series that we're beginning on with Conversations with Michael, and what you would like to personally say about it.
Open your heart. Open your heart to yourself. Open your heart to your greatness. Open your heart to your power. Open your heart to your passion. Feel your feelings. Be with yourself. The wonderful aspect of all of these teachings and this energy of Michael is that it's very loving, but it'll give you a step-by-step process to move within, release the layers of wounding from your heart space to really get to know, honor, and love yourself, so you can connect with your passion, connect with what brings you the greatest amount of joy in life, find your talents and gifts, so you can release yourself from an old life that may no longer be working for you to create a new life for yourself. For 18 years of my life, I worked in an office in the import-export steamship industry. And it wasn't until I realized that I wasn't enjoying this life that I figured out in my mental body, because I wasn't doing this work, that something needed to change. So I went back to school and started learning photography, and then one night it hit me that the reason why I was so unhappy and living a life that was just struggling to survive it was I wasn't living part of my divine plan, my soul connection to my divine plan. And once when I connected with that passion, all of a sudden my level of resonance and vibration started to raise. And it was so strident and committed to create a whole new life for myself as a photographer. And then at the age of 40, I quit my job and walked into the unknown to create this life, simultaneously connecting with Robert Baker, who, through his bioenergetic teachings and methods, allowed me to open my heart even more deeply. That led to me connecting with Michael, that even led me to open my heart even deeper than that and move through more of my wounding to get to the place where I'm at right now in my life. So the exciting part of this, because that was very exciting for me, the exciting part for this, and what can be very exciting for everyone out there and all of you, is that you'll be able to do this, but it's your choice. To follow the teachings, to follow the exercise, to do the exercise. As I say in my book, Journey of the Awakened Heart, is a book not to read, but a book to do. The bravest thing that all of us can do is the inner work, because we all are frightened about what will be uncovered in the inner work, but it all is necessarily important and necessary in our lives to do that work, so we can raise our level of resonance and vibration and connect with our passion and begin living the life that we were meant to live when we incarnated into this human form.
Well, there are a number of things that I think are extremely interesting and inspirational about your particular case, and that is that you show us that the millions of people who are living as you were, that quiet life of desperation, don't need to go on with this, but it does take that spark and that bit of courage to know that you can change your life. You can change your life. You can find and follow your passion. And I also think it's interesting that you were able to create a very successful career for yourself. You are not that there's anything wrong with being a full-time professional healer or channeler or anything like that, but you have demonstrated that it's possible to have a very successful career in the outer world, the world of business and that kind of phenomena that accompany the entertainment business and so forth. You're able to function very successfully in that milieu, and then you have this very profound spiritual work that you also do, showing that people, you don't have to give up who you are. You don't have to give up your work. You don't have to go and sit in a cave somewhere or commit to a life of poverty in order to follow the sacred urgings of your heart. It can all work together, and I think that you demonstrate that very effectively, very beautifully.
Thank you.
So this is something for us to realize as we're listening to this the wonderful channelings from the Archangel Michael, that this is something that we can integrate into our lives and from it find joy and courage and inspiration and greater success in the life paths that we've chosen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the wonderful part of all of these teachings that it guides you and supports you in a step-by-step process to do that, to change your life. Most people throughout time have always visited healers, psychics, going to one group to the next, and why? Why do people flock to hear this person speak about transformation or changing your life? It's because most people, are realizing that the life that they have either doesn't work or they're looking to improve upon it. But there is something that is not resonating for them in the life that they are leading right now. They may be in relationships that are no longer working and they don't know how to release the relationship because it's not about the other person, it's always about the self. So this is just another way to help people with their process and to live the life that they say they want. Because we all have a life we say we want. And that's why people say, the life I say I want is this, but I'm leading a life this way, but this isn't really working. How can I begin to live the life I say I want? Well, Michael has come in and with all of the exercises, teachings, lessons, messages, gives you a process to do that.
Well, with that, let's get at it. Let's start. Let's get there. Let's open our hearts to Archangel Michael. And Jeff, thank you very much. And I'm certainly I can't wait to hear and see what's coming next. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pamela.